cute little section in the middle of our teeny tiny shop. And today we're talking banners. And I sold these banners at the Garden of Quilts show. I had a little sign up there that said watch for our YouTube video. So this is it. Here we go. So at the show we sold, these are Riley Blake. They're a pre-printed panel on these cute little holiday banners. So if you were one of my customers that bought one of these, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that comes onto the Quiltmobile. I have a whole new video on just the fun that we had, and I can't even go into detail because I'm so excited about what happened at that show. So we have the Christmas one, and this is what I'm going to show you just now on how to do this one in an easy way. And you get all of these triangles printed on one panel, and I have an easy method on how to sew these up. You do need a little bit of a sewing machine. You need a sewing machine. You need a little bit of sewing skills. It is so easy. And then we have the patriotic banners that I have here. Now I did the patriotic ones in a whole different method, and that's this one right here. And it's got the white fabric backing on the back. Now the ones that I'm going to show you on this quick little demo that I have is so easy. It takes half the work of this one. Now I've laundered this one. I've ironed it, so it pops back really well. Now what I can say on these as far as laundering, it's a whole different method. So we'll talk about that, and you guys give me your comments on what you would think of this new method that I have. It's just so easy, and stick with me and I'll show you what we got. So let's talk banners. So I'm going to show you this patriotic one that I was showing in the Quiltmobile, and this is a different method. So I used the panel. I cut each triangle out separately, and I sewed them right sides together with some white solid fabric. And I only sewed these on two sides, left the top open so that I can secure this to the top of the banner. There's no need to sew after that because it'll be encased in the top that we're going to put on that one. And so I used my little tool to turn these right sides out, the purple thing, and it retails for $3.50. I don't know if it's raised in price. We had these way back when we had our brick and mortar shop. So it's just a nice tool that doesn't punch holes in the very corners of the triangles. And this is how the panel comes. I cut out a couple of pieces of this one, so it's a little bit chopped up. And you see the navy and white polka dot there that I used and sewed together to include the triangles. And here we are with the Halloween banner. And I used a wire ribbon for the top of this one. I did not cut the triangles out separately. This is the method that I'm going to show you, and it's just so easy. I used decor bond for the backing. I did not use fabric, so it might not wash as well in a washer. I'm hoping to get a couple of years out of this one banner. And then I'm going to show you the panel. So this is how it comes. It's all on one panel. You get all this combination of cute fabrics on this panel, and it makes a large panel. It makes a large banner. So this is the decor bond that I use to back the triangles with. There's a shiny side that's the sticky side. It's fusible, and then there's a kind of a matted side, the underside, that is not fusible, and it's a thicker Pellon. It'll hold quite well onto those triangles. So what I did was I took this to iron. I'm just flattening this out. I took it to the ironing board and I fused just the triangles onto the decor bond. I actually ended up cutting off the accessory pieces, the longer red and white polka dot and those short pieces. I only fused the triangles onto the decor bond. I do have to tell you, I only use that iron on the ironing board. You guys don't ever try to iron on your cutting mat. I was only doing that for demo purposes. So I'm taking this to the machine now, and I'm sewing. Like I say, you don't have to have great sewing skills on this. You're going to want to sew in the line. Don't sew on that little white border part of each one, because what I'm going to do is take my pinking shears and I'm going to separate each one of these triangles. So you don't want any sew lines to be in the middle of each triangle. And don't worry about sewing the tops of these, because you're going to be putting the top ribbon on that and sewing that together, so you won't need to do that. I do sew some of these tops together just for traveling purposes. I don't want to start and stop my needle, so I just kind of go along doing that. And now on this part right here, you guys, I'm having a difficult time handling the full piece of the decor bond. So what I did was I took it to the cutting mat and I cut the whole panel in half going lengthwise. This made it so much easier to handle. Whatever works best for you guys, definitely keep within your comfort level. Make it fun, easy. I get a little giggly once I start a project and kind of discover my own way of making it easier on myself, and sometimes things just happen to work out in a better situation. Here I'm seeing that I didn't fuse the decor bond, so that's why I'm doing a straight down this line here, just to get that secured on there. I must not have either didn't have the iron hot enough. I like to use a little steam when I do my decor bond. I'm seeing right here that I ran out of bobbin thread, so I'm hurrying and changing this out. Don't you just hate that when you run out of bobbin thread and you don't catch it in time? Now that I've sewn all the pieces together, I'm going to take my pinking shears and go ahead and cut each one of these triangles apart. Now my pinking shears, they are old and stiff, and I have a little bit of a hard time with my hands doing this. I'm just using just regular Fisker pinking shears. You can get these at Walmart, any basic Joann's, any basic supply you can get at those places. I do have a pair of Ginger pinking shears that I do love, and those are a lot easier to handle. These are just really stiff. So go ahead and cut these out, and I like to leave that white border in between each triangle. I think it makes a nice effect. You could also do, this is kind of a raw edge effect on this. I was even thinking of cutting a straight edge on each one and seeing if, letting that fabric kind of fray out a little bit. I did miss a line or two on some of these triangles, so I'm going back and sewing those. This is the chain piecing method, which I do find later on down the road, I think I might like this method better by cutting each one of your squares out first with those pinking shears and then doing a chain piecing. It just makes it so the bulk isn't all on the inside of your sewing machine.
doing here now is I'm just kind of sorting through each one, and I'm laying them on a cutting mat, and I'm trying to space these 3 inches apart on each one, and I'm just trying to get a little variety. I don't want the too many greens to be by each other in the red, so I'm just kind of playing with it. But what I did end up doing is making 3 separate piles, one with my white backgrounds, my red backgrounds, and my green backgrounds. And so then I just was able to arrange those in a nice manner. This is important when you're picking out the ribbon that you want to choose to sew along the top of your triangles. Definitely don't pick anything with glitter. I love glitter. I love the way it shimmers in the sunlight outside, and I absolutely love this. But after seeing what it puts down on the cutting table and everywhere, you just don't want to take any chances and sew anything that has heavy glitter like this on your sewing machine. Now I'm taking it to the top of the banner, and after sorting through my triangles and figuring out the colorations that I want to put in there, I'm ready to pin it into the top ribbon. And I'm using this I think it's a 2.5-inch wired ribbon. I bought it from Costco, I think last year, and this is just my all-time favorite pattern. I love the black and white check buffalo plaid. So what I'm doing here is I'm spacing these triangles 3 inches apart, and I'm putting a pin on each side to secure those in there. I want to keep those wires directly above each other because I don't want to let my sewing machine needle bump into any of those. So I'm just kind of being careful where I want to place those triangles on the wire ribbon, and it is so easy to sew in there. But you can see that I'm doing them each kind of consistently, each 3 inches apart. Now I'm not measuring if I'm trying to keep the length of each triangle, so I'm just kind of tucking them up in there a little bit. There's no set measurement on how far up. I'm just trying to cover up that little bit of a white border on the top that you don't have to sew on those. So yeah, you just keep on doing those on each one. Now I'm taking it to the machine, and I thought I had my camera running when I videoed it the first time, so you can see some stitch lines that I've already sewn on here, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this again and just kind of tell you how important it is not to put those wires in, don't sew over the wire edged ribbon on here. This is so easy using the ribbon as the top of your banners, and I will show you a way that I did include those red and white polka dot, the links on those on each end of the banners. And what I was showing you is you want to make sure that the wire ribbon is they're just directly on top of each other, and I can feel it in between my fingers as I'm pushing this through that they are lined up evenly. And I do have my 3-inch spacing on each one, and it is just so easy. I'm taking what I have in my stash as far as ribbons, and I'm trying to decide what I want to put in here. So I'm getting some coordinating colors that will match the whimsical theme of this banner. I didn't go ahead and use that lime green. I'm cutting each strip 12 inches long, and I had to go back through and count how many spaces that I had in between my triangles, and I do believe it was 18. So I'm trying to make 18 different cluster, trying to organize these to put them in between those spaces. Here I'm counting right now and figuring out that I need 18. This makes a very long banner. You'll see it out on the awning of the Quilt Mobile when we're finished with this, and you will see that it stretches out almost the whole awning. There's a couple of feet on each side, so I would dare say that this banner it spans to the length of around 16 feet. So it does make a longer one. And you could make 2 separate banners out of this. Depending on if you do those 3-inch spaces, put that over your mantle, do one over your mantle and one over another doorway, would be great. Now I'm taking each ribbon, and actually I had this red glitter. I love glitter, and I didn't want it to be that width, so I just went ahead and cut it in half, which is fine. So it laid on the cluster very well. It just fit better. Then I'm taking a pipe cleaner and I cut it in half, and I'm just making these clusters. I'm twisting that pipe cleaner around these, and what I'll do is just put each one of these clusters in those 3-inch spaces that I have. I took one off that I had tied in there individually that it just didn't work. So I like that a lot better. It fits better and the colors match really nice. And here it is on the Quilt Mobile. I absolutely love this banner, and like I say, this is a 20-foot awning that's on the Quilt Mobile, so it definitely is a large banner for this one. It's perfect on the Quilt Mobile. Love the polka dots that are on there with the Quilt Mobile. Matches, coordinates nicely. I do have somebody in mind that I'm going to give this to. I have some kids that live in Billings, Montana, and they live in an area where their little community, they decorate for the Whoville experience up there, and it is so much fun to go up and visit and see how everybody decorates their place. They have a little business district where they've formed some little shops, and it's just so much fun. So I'm going to be sending this up to them and let them decorate their house for that. That'll be fun. So yeah, let me know how you guys think on this. I think that decor bond and sewing that around is just so much faster Like I say, it might not wash up as well as having that fabric backed on there. And I do have to say that Riley Blake has a little video out there on using these pre-printed panels, and they take theirs and quilt theirs, and they do their little batting in between, and it's just absolutely adorable. Try your hand on appliquing a few little, like if you did a birthday banner, appliquing something on there, the happy birthday or anything like that. And I'm going to show you a little bit of a banner that I made that's not using these pre-printed panels. I want to zoom in on this right here, because what I did on these ends of the banners is I took a little extra few pieces of ribbon and added in there, and then I cut that long strip of the red and white polka dot, and I cut it in half, and then so I had 4 pieces, so I put 2 pieces on each end of the banner. So stick with me and I'll show you how to make this banner just real quick. And it's just using 3 different fat quarters of fabrics that coordinate with each other. So I've taken 3 fat quarters here, and a fat quarter is 22 inches by 18 inches. It's a quarter of a yard. And I got 3 coordinating pieces here. And it's kind of a different color for Christmas, so I had a hard time finding my ribbon on this one, you guys. I ran to Walmart and our local Dollar Tree. I built a template, and I took a piece of paper. I'm using a very technical drawing method here of using a pen. You won't see this pen mark on the banner at all because it gets on the other side to go onto the decor bond. So, but yeah, I just built my own template. I wanted to make it fit the lengthwise of the fat quarter, the 22-inch side. Oh boy, I cannot even think right now. And you don't have to have rotary cutters. You can use just regular scissors to cut this out. Rotary cutters are a little bit faster. And I'm not cutting it in the middle because I just want to keep these as whole as I can, because the way I place them on the decor bond, you'll definitely see that. Some of them do end up getting cut in half, but that's okay. So I'm just doing this on each one of the fabrics. And I'm going to take it. Oh, my favorite snack is the peanuttles from Grocery Outlet. I am so addicted to those things. So here I've got the red on the decor bond. And like I say, the decor bond is just a stiffer pill-on, and it is fusible on one side. So I'm keeping these kind of lined up in the middle so that I can, just like with the pre-printed, I'm going to cut these down the middle with the rotary cutter and sew them that way. So I'm just trying to keep them lined up. I'm trying to snug them in as much as possible so that I only have to do one swipe with my pinking shears, because I don't have that white border in the middle as it did on that pre-printed panel. So I'm just trying to keep them as close as possible. I'm going to go ahead and fuse this on here really well, and I'll take it to the machine. I'm doing that chain piecing method right now. I cut a few of these triangles apart. It fused really well onto that decor bond. So I'm just kind of doing this, and I feel that I desire to do the chain piecing better than doing the whole panel. But here on down the line here, I take a bigger piece and I start doing the actual panel. I'm building the top. I couldn't find any wire ribbon that matched the colors of my triangles. This is just a different Christmas coloration here. So I am just cutting out 3-inch strips. I'm cutting it off the bolt, doing 3 different strips here. So that would be 1/4 of a yard if you want to make your own top for this banner. And so I sewed these right sides together end to end, and then I pressed it in half. And then after I pressed it, I went ahead and I trimmed it, the edges, with the pinking shears. So once again, it's kind of a raw edge on this one. Then I'm taking the banners after I pressed and edged the top, and I'm placing these 3 inches apart. I couldn't find that ribbon that I wanted to put a little accessory in between, as you saw on the picture as it was hanging up in the house. And so I'll be adding some stuff on these later. I was even thinking of putting a bell on the bottom of each square, or of each triangle. Just a bunch of cute little things that you could do. I'll be doing that and maybe posting some pictures on our website on this banner. I'm just sewing the triangles into that top piece, and I only put 1 pin in these. I just am filling to make sure that both sides are encasing each one of those triangles. So it's just an easy task. But what I wanted to tell you guys right now is I'm doing a giveaway. I'm late on posting a video. I'll be working on that along with some ins and outs on this pineapple square that I put together on this quilt. I finished it. I've got it all quilted. Took it to the Garden of Quilts, and it just turned out wonderful. And I have a few of my friends that I talked to about posting some advantages on how to utilize our pineapple template, pineapple blocks on that. So I'll be putting that up real soon. And here it is again, hanging up in my dining room. My garland's a little sad. I just threw it up there, and I didn't put anything. I usually have a big bow in the middle.